Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Happy Valentine's Day, if you celebrate such a thing. If you don't, do not be hating on the lovebirds. Let them have it, man. Let them have it. Love is in there. Except in Congress. Yeah, man, here we go again. Here we go again. Donald Trump, your president, has said that he is going to implement voter ID, whether Congress approves of it or not, whether you like it or not. He is going to sign an executive order to make sure that voter ID is required at the polls. What do y'all think about that, man? Give me a thumbs up if you think it's a good idea. Thumbs down if you say, hell no, man, this dude is tripping. I'll give you a few moments to think about it. Okay, time's up. Look, fam, this is going to be a quick live. I'm going to hold you about 15 minutes or so, and we're going to move on. But before I get into his current tyrant, let's get into what he said back on February 8th. He said, America's elections are rigged, stolen, and a laughing stock all over the world. We are either going to fix them or we won't have a country any longer. I am asking all Republicans to fight for the following. Save America Act. All voters must show voter ID identification. All voters must show proof of United States citizenship to register for voting. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. And that's a wrap, fam. So let me go back to what he said about, I am asking all Republicans to fight for the following. See, this is part of the reason why America is so divided. He is the president of the United States, and he don't have enough common sense to say, I am asking for all members of Congress to fight for the following. You see, knowing that you're not going to get all, but you ask for all anyway because you want to present a united front. You want to be the president for all Americans. The way Trump presides over the presidency, he makes it very, very clear. If you're not on the right, if you're not a Republican, if you're not conservative, fuck you. That's his mentality. He don't even pretend to try to care about everybody else. But keep in mind, everybody else is still citizens of this country, and everybody else still pays taxes. Everybody else is still required to obey the law and are expected to contribute in what makes this country operable, or even what, as they like to say, great, right? So to me, this is just bad. This is horrible. This is a horrible example of leadership. So let's get into now what he said about requiring voter ID. He said this on his failed Truth Social network, which is a trip to me because I think it only has about 14 million subscribers or something like that. And allegedly they have about 80 million Republicans. That don't even make sense because, you know, he has a cult. You know what? Let me make sure I got this right because hold on, let's see. Truth Social. Let's see how many followers he have on Truth Social. He only has 11.7 million followers on Truth Social. The math ain't mathing, fam. The math ain't mathing. He got 11 million followers, and we know how his cult operates. They buy anything that he sells. They believe anything he says. So if he had so-called 80 million votes, then the people who are following him, it should be a much larger number than that. It should be at least 30, 40 million people who are following him. This lets me know, reinforces the idea that election was rigged. I just don't believe, I know that America has a lot of uncivilized mutts, but I just don't believe it's that many. It just seems that many because you know, fam, you know, the trash rises to the top. That's how that goes. But let's get into what he said on Truth Social yesterday. We cannot let the Democrats get away with no voter ID any longer. These are horrible, disingenuous cheaters. They have all sorts of reasons why it shouldn't be passed, and then boldly laugh in the back rooms after their ridiculous presentations. If it weren't such a serious matter, it would be considered a total joke. No voter ID is even crazier and more ridiculous than men playing in women's sports, open borders, or transgender for everyone. Let me stop right there real quick, fam, and just interject. This is where the Republicans get a lot of support, and the Democrats fail horribly. Because what they do is they always throw in some common sense stuff. I mean, this is common sense stuff to me. Men and playing in women's sports, open borders, or transgender for everyone. I don't believe in that myself. But this is how they get a lot of people, because some people have really, really strong convictions for certain issues. And if that's your strongest conviction, or one of your strongest convictions, and that's the hill you're willing to die on, it can make you say that Trump is my guy, despite all of the other evil, demonic stuff that he does. Despite the fact that he appears in the Jeffrey Epstein files more than Jeffrey Epstein appears in it. And he is being accused of messing with little girls, and he's had a judgment against him for violating a woman and been accused of violating dozens of other women. And he's been on tape admitting to sexually assaulting women. Despite all of that, the hill I'm willing to die on is I just don't appreciate men and women's sports, open borders, or transgender for everyone. So I'm going for Trump. You see? Moving on. He says Republicans must put this at the top of every speech. It is a can't miss for re-election in the midterms and beyond. Even Democrat voters agree, 85%, that there should be voter ID. It's only the political leaders, cricket losers like Schumer and Jeffries, that have no shame and explain why it's racist and every other thing that they can think of. This is an issue that must be fought, and must be fought now. If we can't get it through Congress, there are legal reasons why this scam is not permitted. I will be presenting them shortly in the form of an executive order. I hope the Supreme Court realizes, as they painstakingly review the very simple topic of country-saving tariffs, those same tariffs that have been used by other countries against the USA to drain it of its treasure and security for many years, and all sorts of other things that are making our country rich, powerful, and safe again, that these corrupt and deranged Democrats, if they ever gain power, will not only be adding 2 states to our roster of 50 with all of the baggage there too, but will also pack the court with a total of 21 Supreme Court justices, their dream, which they will submit easily and rapidly when they immediately move to terminate the filibuster, probably in their first week or sooner. Our country would never be the same if they allow these demented and evil people to knowingly and happily destroy it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Save America. President Donald J. Trump. Fam, I just can't go on without addressing this long ass run on sentence. This long ass run on sentence started at, I hope the Supreme Court justices realize. And it don't end until he gets all the way down to or sooner. Family, we're talking about 126 damn words before he got to a period. Or whoever wrote it got to a period. I don't think he wrote it anyway. He never writes it because he ain't that intelligent. He really don't understand like 3-syllable words. Anything past 1-syllable word, he get confused. You know, that's why he always say huge. It's gonna be huge. It was big, beautiful. Whatever. I guess that's 3. But anyway, fam, you picking up what I'm putting down, man. The dude ain't smart at all. He's not smart at all. But anyway, yeah. What kind of damn writing is this, fam? You're writing from the highest office in the land, and you got a damn run-on sentence that's 125 words. 126 words and 727 characters. Absolutely ridiculous. Uncalled for. Moving on. Let me tell you something, fam. Regardless of where you stand on voter ID policy itself, the issue here is process. The issue is process. If the process is ignored, it weakens the very system that was meant to protect the people in the first place. Right or wrong? This idea of it's going to happen whether you like it or not, even without Congress approving it, that raises serious constitutional questions. That raises serious illegal ramifications. Anybody that tries to circumvent the law should be punished. And we are a nation of prisons. We are a nation of incarceration. We believe in sending people to jail. So anybody that does something like that should be sent to jail. And here's the thing that I should have said actually from Jump Street. First of all, Congress writes federal election law. The president don't even have the authority to unilaterally create a nationwide requirement for voting. He don't even have that power. And we're talking about under Article 1 of the Constitution, the power to regulate federal elections largely rests with Congress and the states. If a president bypasses that process, it undermines separation of powers. Elections are primarily administered by states. Okay, fam? So while the federal government can set certain standards, it cannot simply impose new voting rules nationwide by executive order. That executive order can only take him so far. If it could take him further, then I think that some of the other presidents before him would have just kept on signing executive orders. This whole idea of whether you like it or not, it singles a blatant disregard for the democratic process. This is why this dude should have never, ever, ever been allowed to become president. He should have never been allowed to become president. He is a Thug. He's just he's a high level thug. That's it. That's it. Going into the comments. Bughorse 10, what it do? What it do? What it do? Frederick Lee, I see you. Yeah. Giving life. What's up, Connie Harch? Is that right? Is that riding yet? New York? Oh, I can't break that down. Got to break that up right there. I see Rod. I see Rodney, E.T. or something. Okay. Vera Dockery. Steve White. Antoner, what up? What I want to know is if he's, what's up, Chris? Appreciate you. If he's so concerned about voter fraud, if we're voting the same way we've been voting all of these years, and that's what he's concerned about, how in the hell did he become president? Simple question. How did he become president? But what I will say about those Republicans is that they're very good at messaging. They call it Save America. Who wouldn't want to save America? You know what I'm saying? They're very good at messaging. The messaging has nothing behind it, though. Like it has nothing for the people behind it. The messaging is a cover. But they're extremely good at it. Democrats, not so much. Oh man, they have horrible messaging. And I do believe one of the reasons why that the Republicans' messaging is so good is because they go in knowing that they finna do some dirty shit. And so, but in order to pull it off, they got to give it a title. They got to give it a title that makes it sound like it's for the people. And you know, you put American in anything, and a lot of these people in America, they just fall for it. You say, save America, make America great. Again, shit, who wouldn't want to make America great? But not again. But who wouldn't want to make America great? I think that was great for their constituents. That was great for their party, that messaging, because that particular party has a high concentration, a higher concentration than the Democrat Party of uncivilized mud racists. So absolutely they want to make America great again because they want things to go back the way that they used to be, where they were unaccountable, where they could kill, rob, steal from others who wasn't white and get away with it, where they could just talk to people any kind of way that they wanted to talk to them, and there would be no consequences for their actions. That's what they want. They want that America. They want slaves. I've read some comments online where some of them have said, I wish slavery would come back. They want slaves. That's how badly they want to make America great again. Imagine that. I got your slave, motherfucker. Yeah. Mess around and become one messing with me, boy. Yeah. I am your worst fear. Oh yeah, that's me, for real. I'm about that action. See, they don't like when you talk like that. They don't, in other words, they don't like when you talk like them. They don't like when you match their energy. Yeah, they don't like that. C. Brown, who is that? It says C. Brown. C. Brown here. What's up, Pamela? So Donald Trump says, y'all, that he is going to sign an executive order so that he can implement voter ID requirements. And that's whether you like it or not. But as I said, fam, I'm not necessarily against voter ID. The problem I have with his rhetoric is whether you like it or not and whether Congress approves of it or not. My problem with what he's saying above everything is process, the issue of process. We are a nation of laws. At least that's what I thought. That's my time, fam. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.